Alright, we got Sparky Thoughts, the sad truth about playing sports.
This video is about sports. You know, for the people out there that don't look at the thumbnail or read the title of the video, but bro, I'm not gonna lie, I sat here for like 30 minutes trying to come up with a way to start this video. I'm a mid-YouTuber, I know, but on the real
Now you're a great
I feel
YouTuber.
like everyone grows up playing some sort of sport, even if it's not necessarily competitively.
Yeah, T-ball, I grew up playing T-ball, grew up playing basketball, I grew up playing a little bit of football.
Less, yeah, we'll go with enough people to where making a video like this is valid, but not nearly enough to account for the vast majority. Me personally, I grew up with 3 attributes that pretty much ensured that I was gonna get tossed headfirst into the sports world. The first thing is actually represented in this chart that I got from National Negro Graphic. Then of course you got the fact that my dad is a New York Knicks fan. Which, if you know anything about Knicks fans, all they got is, first of all, each other, and hope. And that same hope has to get instilled into their offspring in the hopes that they'll make it to the NBA.
I got stabbed!
Needless to say, I did not make it to the NBA, seeing as I'm making YouTube videos. But yeah, there's that as well. And then the other thing is I grew up taller than most of my peers.
LSK?
But yeah, there's that as well.
This man
And
hit
then
the exit sign.
thing is I grew up taller than most of my peers. So you can already hear my father's Caribbean friends every time they saw me.
Him a tall. Him should play basketball.
Matumbo.
In a basketball
Matumbo.
camp. You must pick up the books and pick up the bumbo clad basketball.
So if I'm being honest, when I
Bro,
was
just because you told on me you should play basketball. I know these coaches in these schools, right? They see a 6'5" new kid at the school, 300 pounds. The football coach be drooling over and do everything in their power to get him to play. Try to convince him to play. If he don't want to play, you shouldn't force him to play. I don't care if he's 7'11". He shouldn't be forced to play if he don't want to play. That's the case of some of these players that play professional sports. They're forced to play, meaning they don't truly love the game. And if you don't truly love the game, then the effort's going to be fake. Everything about it is going to be fake. Come on, I'm spitting. I'm spitting, literally.
Before I even saw my mother's face, I saw fucking basketball. And it's not that I was forced to play basketball or anything. More like heavily encouraged to play basketball. Like I remember watching games with my dad and he used to tell me, you know what, son? One day, you're gonna be a basketball doctor. And I was sitting there, I was like, you know what, Dad? I will be a basketball doctor. That sounds amazing. I get to
The dude that be running on us from the sidelines, stop the fights from escalating. One of those coaches. This gets paid to stop fights, to stop players from running on the court. Cause if you run on the court during like an altercation, you get fined or you get suspended. So they have a certain coach for that, to stop players from running on the court during the altercation.
And then check on their injuries, and I make millions of dollars.
Footage.
The sky's the limit. Until I got older and I realized the sky was the amount of bullshit and years of school that I have to go through if I wanted to do any of those things. But with all the chatter in my life going on around basketball, it only makes sense that one day I had to be able to play it, right? And I did. At about 9 or 10 years old, I went to my first basketball practice.
He found out he was left-handed. Whoop-de-doo!
And
even made him even more excited.
They're coming straight in.
Sparky Thoughts, you play Valorant? I knew you play that game.
it was cool. I had a lot of fun. Was it something I wanted to do for the rest of my life? I don't know. After all, Dr. Eggman and that Ender Dragon were not gonna beat themselves. But it was fun enough to where I decided that I wanted to stick with it. After all, practice was only 1 to 2 times a week. What could possibly go wrong? And nothing really did, you know, other than the fact that I wanted to watch Dragon Ball Z sometimes, and I couldn't because I was at practice, and some distasteful asswipe in my house decided that their love and hip-hop was more important than me trying to figure out how the hell Goku was gonna get off of planet Namek, so I couldn't even record it. But fast forward to the summer going into 6th grade, and man, that had to be one of the most shaping summers of my life, because my father signed me up for basketball camp. That means from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
He even asked you. He said, wake up, you're going to camp.
Every single day.
He didn't alert you or nothing.
I was going to be doing nothing but basketball. Dribbling, passing, running up and down the court. Suicides.
Yep, that's what I'm talking about. Suicides!
Running up and down the stairs with a weight vest on for 9 hours a day, 5 days a week. And it was at this
have you walking with a plate over top of your head? Yep.
Basketball camp that I realized something about myself. Something that would later make itself obvious to
It's like Space Jam 2 with LeBron James all over again. Whoop-de-doo! I want to go to anime convention. Now you going to basketball camp, buddy.
Many occasions. But because of something that I had instilled in my head from the time that I was young, I refused to believe it. I really like basketball. I love watching it. I love the merchandise for it.
You like playing it?
Video games. I love the history.
You like playing it?
And yeah, I even like playing it.
Oh, okay.
But not every single day. And by default at this point, I should have known, like, yeah, the NBA isn't for me. And with my mediocre ability to play the game, I'm probably not for the NBA either. However, I powered through that summer, did what I had to do, and I made it to middle school. My first middle school is irrelevant to the situation because
He's gonna have you try out for the team? Your dad's gonna make you try out?
at that point, coming off of that summer, I wasn't really focused on basketball. I met a bunch of like-minded people that were into the same things outside of basketball that I was into as well, and so I didn't really care for it anymore. But
Your dad got mad once you said you're not trying out for the team?
Friends in my first middle school, I had to leave because that school was dog shit. I got into a few situations that led to me having to leave that middle school, and I went to another one. Now, this one was completely different. Rules were stricter, I had to get to school earlier and leave later, but the most important thing here is I had no fucking friends. Gone are the days where you were cool if you brought your DS to school. Gone are the days where you could be considered cool.
I remember a bunch of DS or Beyblade to school, bro. Indoor recess used to hit different, bro. You bring your DS or you bring your Beyblades, because Beyblades were popping back then, and it was indoor recess, it was raining outside, bro. You were the most popping kid in the school. Instantly.
Welcome to the days of social status based on what you do, the type of clothes you wear, the type of sneakers you wear. And more importantly, for the sake of this video, whether you were good or not at basketball. Like, I don't think you guys understand how much of a juxtaposition this was from my old schools. Like, yeah, people used to play basketball, but, like, no one really cared that much. Like, of course, the athletes were always favored, but that was only, like, situationally, like...
Should have saw him in PE class, buddy. You should have saw him in PE class. Would have been a GOAT.
Obviously, I'm gonna want the athletic dudes on my team. But in this school, it seems like the only people that were popular were people that played basketball and were good at it. And more importantly, on the team. So it was only right that I had to make the team now. And I just came from playing basketball for 3 months straight.
Hold up. They made you try out? You didn't have an option?
That much. Like, of course, the athletes were always favored, but that was only, like, situationally. Like, when I'm picking a team for dodgeball in gym class, obviously I'm gonna want the athletic dudes on my team. But in this school, it seems like the only people that were popular were people that played basketball and were good at it. And more importantly...
it sounds like my school.
On the team. So it was only right that I had to make the team now. And I just came from playing basketball for 3 months straight. So all I gotta do is go to the tryout.
So even though you didn't want to try out, you wanted clout. So that made you try out. Whoop-de-doo!
The team.
Peer pressure and clout are two most dangerous drugs in the world.
Then I can finally be accepted by everyone at my new middle school. If only that is how the story went. The tryouts came and I was hot, steamy shit. Missing layups, airbowling shots, and overall...
Good thing your dad wasn't there. He would have been yelling at you. Would have whooped you in front of all your people, bro. All the friends, all the teachers. The teachers would have been in the background laughing at you, bro.
Up and down the court.
So what did you learn at basketball camp? What did you learn at... What did you do? You just sat? You just stood there?
With no head that has no idea what the hell he's supposed to be doing. And to add insult to injury, there was a point where one of the dudes at the tryout actually airballed a layup. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it was pretty goddamn bad. Couldn't help myself but laugh. But as we know, it couldn't just be that simple. One of the dudes on the team looks at me and he says,
"Bro, don't even laugh, boy. You probably would have done the same thing."
Even after putting on one of the worst basketball
still would have laughed.
Recorded history at that school, that was probably the most embarrassing thing about that.
You know what's crazy? I know it has nothing to do with the video, by the way.
That school, that was.
You know Steve Harvey used to have hair. You know that, right? You gotta go back to the time before it was HD to see that he actually had hair. It's crazy. I didn't know that.
Embarrassing thing about that tryout, because that nigga Loki wasn't even lying. Once again, I had a negative experience trying to play sports, and it was worse this time because this time I actually wanted it. In retrospect, yes, I wanted it for the wrong reasons.
Yep, you wanted it for the clout. Yep.
Still wanted it, and I failed. And I failed in one of the most miserable ways possible. And what's worst, I wish I could tell you guys that I made the basketball team at any point during middle school, but I got cut every single year. And what makes this worse, one of the years I was actually informed by someone on the team that the last spot on the team came down to me and some other dude that we're just gonna call Gregory. The only reason Gregory got it over me, according to this person, was because he was a little bit taller than me. I was so angry at this point that I challenged him to a 1v1.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, same thing happened to me.
Team came down to me.
It was me and someone else. And they wanted someone else, but that someone else who made the team over me, they ain't get no PT. So whoop-de-doo!
Other dude that we're just gonna call Gregory. The only reason Gregory got it over me, according to this person, was because he was a little bit taller than me. I was so angry at this point that I
because the dude that was picked over me, he tried out late because the trials were like one day was like a certain day. Then that dude came the day before, like after the trials. So they gave him a little trial with the team and whatnot. And he said, "Who you want, Bryce or the other dude?" And he said, "The other dude."
In front of the entire park.
And he ain't gonna get no PT, so I'm not mad.
I killed his ass, and it felt pretty fucking good. But I still didn't get what I wanted at the end of the day. And it's no coincidence that I didn't make the team any year either. Because as I told you guys earlier, my main motivation for wanting to make the team in the first place was because of status. But as middle school went on, I eventually got my own friends anyway. I didn't have to make the basketball team anymore to be accepted by my peers. So while I still do enjoy playing basketball, it became more like a 3 a.m. motivation thing. If you guys don't know what I mean by 3 a.m. motivation, it essentially means that your drive to do something comes in episodes. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's inauthentic, but it definitely is conditional. Like when you see a motivational video at 3 a.m., you've all been there, you know, sat in bed looking up at the ceiling like, damn, I'm really not doing shit with my life.
Nah, me, I never did that. I never watched I remember watching motivational video at 3 a.m. I'm usually sleep.
Wanted to do,
bro, get y'all sleep.
Something 9 times out of 10.
Feel much better.
Nothing going on at 3 a.m.
Somehow still tired because your body's not used to sleeping for 8+ hours, bro. Once your body get used to it, you're gonna feel so much better. It's a process. Your body gotta get used to it.
And you
talking about, I sleep for 9+ hours and my body's still tired. Well, yeah, I keep on doing it so your body can get used to it. You probably you're still tired after sleeping for 9+ hours because your body's not used to it. You used to only sleeping for 3 hours. That's what your body's used to. So you do something different, your body's gonna react differently. And you still probably gonna be tired.
You have nothing to apply it to. And once that 3 a.m. motivation fades, it's just back to reality. My reality was that I kinda sorta enjoyed playing basketball sometimes, and my initial motivation for wanting to make the basketball team became null and void. I essentially wanted to play basketball on my own terms, but didn't really want to admit it to myself. And realistically, doing something that you love on your own terms isn't how you're gonna get better at it. And it sure as hell isn't the mentality on my own terms, but didn't really want to admit it to myself. And realistically, doing something that you love on your own terms isn't how you're gonna get better at it. And it sure as hell isn't the mentality you should have if it's something that you want to do professionally. But even through failing to make the basketball team,
back up!
Believe it or not, my dumbass
is sweating too.
That believed I'm gonna make it to the NBA. And it's gonna sound crazy, but a lot of that is attested to the fact that I thought I'd have some random growth spurt, and I thought that growth spurt would make me miraculously good at basketball. I don't know, I was some dumbass kid. And honestly, me being
just like many of them. That's like many of them.
For a blessing to take something that I wanted to do professionally seriously, I should have known right there to reevaluate my dreams. But them stories about NBA players that didn't start playing basketball until 15 years old, they got me. I'm not gonna lie. I'll slap the back of my neck for that one. But now comes high school.
And they were like 7 feet tall, bro.
Got me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, like 7 feet tall.
Neck for that one. But now comes high school. Still playing basketball occasionally, but the summer going into 9th grade, I was on a summer basketball team, which, just for context, it was actually a time where I had to choose between showing up to an elimination basketball game or make it to a music performance that I was a part of. Do you guys want to guess what I chose?
The music performance? Music performance, right? Music performance.
The music performance.
I know it.
Granted, there was
you can't fool me. I'm already familiar with your game. It's my first time watching you. I'm already familiar with you. You can't fool me.
Context to it, I was the best drummer in that band, and on the basketball team, I was like the 11th dude off the bench. So
bro, Greg Oden, hey, you ain't gonna disrespect Greg Oden like that, bro. That dude was nice. He just dealt with injury, that's all. He's not the 11th dude off the bench.
Basketball team, I was like the 11th dude off the bench. So to them, losing me was like losing that fucking piece of loose string that hangs off of your shirt. But that's besides the point. I tell y'all that just to give you guys some insight in terms of my priorities. Anyway, this team is important because this is the reason that I got onto my high school basketball team. The coach of my high school basketball team and the coach of my summer league team.
Bro, remember, I know I don't do a video, but he said they had like a poster boy for unemployment, and the dude had a job. And it was like a random dude that was the poster boy for unemployment. They say unemployment, his face always showed up, bro. His face always showed up on a picture.
Priorities. Anyway, this team.
I'm employed. Why I keep on using my face for unemployment?
Important because this is the reason that I got into my high school basketball team.
Who did that?
High school basketball team and the coach of my summer league team were acquainted somehow. So when he saw my name on the roster and realized, oh, this kid's going to my school, he picked me up for a few practices. So by the grace of God, somehow I was able to tiptoe my way through the window and onto the team.
Tell him to bring me my money. Yeah!
And even when I was on the team, I wasn't completely on the team. I was more like the dude that was just
the water
around,
boy.
But didn't really have a jersey. But got to practice with them though. I did actually get to play like 1 or 2 games, but I wasn't doing shit. So I now got what I fought for so many years. But even then, I was the equivalent to when you unplug the controller and give that shit to your brother to make him feel like he's playing.
Yeah, I used to do that all the time, bro, with my nieces and nephews.
To when you unplug
But not my nephews, but my nieces though. They always say want to play, then you say no, they gonna start crying. So you give them a controller that's not connected, and you think they playing when they not. That's an easy way. That's an easy way to think the kid. You know what I'm saying? That's an easy way to stop the kids from crying, bro. That's one of the oldest tricks in the books, and it's still useful. Forever be useful.
I was the equivalent to when you unplug the controller and give that shit to your brother
to
make him feel like he's playing. And honestly, due to my skill level at the time, I'm still to this day grateful for that opportunity. I was very fortunate to have gotten it, but it was at this point that I got slapped in the face with reality. My arc concluded, and everything about everything that I thought that I was going to be doing since I was 8 years old was put on hold because of this very realization that I had. And that realization is, I am not going to the goddamn NBA. Realistically, there were people that got a fair tryout that deserved my spot more than me. They were better than me. There were people in high school that...
You know, in high school, so like some coach already had the team in their head already because they had workouts and whatnot. And some of the coaches keep them a secret because they don't want extra players showing up and whatnot.
Care about playing basketball professionally that would leave me on 0 in a 1v1, which is fine. But in the grand scheme of things, do I give a shit to get better? Not really. Do I want to stay after school for 4 extra hours and toss some balls around with a bunch of individuals that I don't even really like that much? Nor are they that fond of me? And this don't go for everyone on the team, by the way. If you watching this video and you know, you know. But at the start of high school, I made so many good friends that I wanted to get to know on a grander scale. But I couldn't because I had to stay after school to do something every day.
Give Odor the Bird with 24/7 lasting freshness of Old Spice Eagle.
Sparky thought you was about Old Spice. I know you use Old Spice. Sparky thought you use Tide. I know you use Tide.
Now there's 85% more Tide in every power pod.
He spelled Tide on. When is they selling Tide at restaurants for?
That I didn't even care about that much. All of the things that I was actually passionate about were left on the back burner. And you know what I had to show for it? I finally got what my 6th grade self wanted, and my current self was not happy. So, I did what I had to do. I left the team. And by left the team, what I really mean is I just kind of stopped going for a month with...
Oh, so he made this high school team? But he can't make the middle school team?
Low-key, the intentions to go...
Well, maybe he got better without practicing. Whoop-de do!
Either way, what's done is done. And honestly, this was one of the best decisions that I ever made in my entire life. It's the first time I was realistic with myself in a long time. And I'm really glad that I was. High school started to look up. I went on to make and maintain great friendships that I still hold near and dear to my heart to this day. And I know it sounds crazy, because essentially what I'm telling you guys is I gave up. And even though, yes, realistically, I did give up. For the first time in my life, I didn't have shackles around my ankles. I didn't have to live up to a false expectation that someone had of me. I didn't have to deal with my motivations constantly flip-flopping. And above all, I didn't have to lie to myself anymore. About 2 years ago, I had a talk with one of my cousins who I used to play basketball with heavily, and he was still in high school at the time. And he said something that at the time I agreed with, but looking back now, I don't necessarily agree with it. Either way, it's still very significant. He said,
Sparky, I'm not gonna lie. We wasted a lot of our time and a lot of our lives playing basketball. We could have been doing something else.
And honestly, at the time with him, I agreed. But you know why I disagree now? For one, I don't regret playing basketball at all. I know I'm only dialing in on the negatives.
But you're doing something that you like to do at the same time.
There were a lot of...
Like you playing, we don't have to play, but you playing it because you want to. Because you love it. So it's not really a waste of time if you love doing what you're doing.
Positives that came from me playing basketball throughout my life. But overall, the reason I don't regret it is because it's a part of my arc. Everything played out exactly the way it was supposed to, in my opinion.
Everything happens for a reason.
I've been playing basketball for a long time, technically. I feel like 9th grade was the perfect time for me to come to that realization that I don't really care for this shit like that. Because of this, I went on to have a high school experience that I'm pretty proud of. And things just could have been so much worse. Imagine if I started playing basketball in middle school and only came to the realization that I didn't want to do it anymore my senior year of high school. I would have built my whole high school experience around something that I just realized that I didn't want to do. And then college would have been next year. That would have been scary. And I know because I've literally seen it. The same people that ridiculed me for giving up essentially did the same thing that I did, but did it at a time
pointing
when
at
all
me.
of their eggs were in one basket. No pun intended. And it really is a sad thing to see. The passion in people's eyes starts to fade, dreams get crushed, and honestly, it don't even be their fault. This happens to people who really got a love for sports, man, and that shit is unfortunate. So I really am grateful for the journey that I had with sports. However, do not be me, guys. You pick up that ball or those cleats or that iron, ask yourself why it is that you do it. And even then, understand that how you feel about something is generally reflected by your attitude towards it. When you wake up and you just want to do something every day, regardless of your good days or your bad days, regardless of people's opinion, I feel like that's when you know that passion is real. And that's not to say that you won't have good and bad days, but it's whether or not you let those good and bad days cloud your vision. Because physical, sports at the end of the day is mostly mentality. The other thing I'd like to say, and a lot of people probably aren't going to want to hear this, but sometimes it's okay to realistically evaluate yourself. And this isn't even always physical, because I feel like a lot of times you can compensate for that, especially through your hard work. But it can be something as simple as where you live. You can be the next coming of Kobe Bryant, but you go to Elmore Junior High School. Ain't nobody gonna know that you nice. There are no scouts in West Bumblefuck. So unless you want to get scouted by Chandler Jones.
Bro, sometimes it's that and the coaches. Sometimes the coach not trying to help you get exposed or nothing like that. There's some coaches out there that don't want you to get exposed.
We got the baddest white girls in the cold country.
Trust me, none of you guys want that. There should definitely be a conversation about relocating to make your dreams come true. The next thing, I know it sounds cliche, but it's only cliche because it's so real. Work on your game. I don't even think I gotta go into detail. You want something, you gotta put in the hours. Like, why are you even watching this video right now?
And if you love what you do, it's not work. Because you're doing something that you love to do. Whoop-de-doo!
Nah, chill. Finish the video, of course. But after that, I need 10 makes, or 10 kicks, or throws, or wrinkles out of a shirt. I'm sorry, I found out that ironing was an actual sport during the making of this video, and I still think that shit is crazy. So, yeah. Next thing, do not compare your journey to others. My story will not be yours, and your story will not be like anyone else's.
That's right. We're all one-of-one, special, unique way, one of a kind. And because of that, our journeys are different.
Very easy to get caught up in someone's story and feel like you're not as far as you should be. But understand that it is only over when you say it's over. If the outcome is
right now where you are, you're doing fine. You're doing okay. You're doing great. Right now where you are, no cap.
Your head, chances
not even joking.
It's 100% possible. But understand, there are people that probably started playing your sport last month and are already leaps and bounds ahead of you. But there are also people that have been playing for 15 plus years that you could definitely give a run for their money. Either way, if you love it and you want to do it, take it seriously. And last thing, understand that there are other avenues related to what you want to do that don't involve you being directly involved. Your favorite media personality, from commentators to sports analysts, wanted to be players themselves. But for whatever reason, it didn't happen, so now they just talk about it. And you know what? That's still amazing. If you love a sport, but maybe don't have the physicality for it, look for other factors of that sport that you can possibly contribute to. The specifics of that, however, I can't really give you. I'm not too much of a sports guy. And also, really, even if I was, extreme ironing exists, as well as wife carrying. Yeah, I don't even... Ironing exists, as well as wife carrying. Yeah, I don't even think Google could help you with those. Can't be that hard to get a job at the cleaners or kidnap somebody's wife.